Amanda Smith.
When you're managing large, complex customer relationships, the line between being just another vendor and being a trusted partner often comes down to one thing: how you show up. These days, strategic account management isn't only about knowing your product or service, and covering your territory, whatever that looks like. You have to understand people, dig into what their challenges are, and build relationships that genuinely move the business forward. But it can't be transactional. This is something that I am trying to get better at every single day. And so when I thought about who was the expert in this field, Cassandra Farr was the only person that came to mind. She is the Senior Vice President and Head of Enterprise Strategic Solutions at Philips Medical Capital, and they partner with health systems to really improve the patient care, treatment, and experience. Cassandra is a master at relationship building, and there are 3 key things that define what it takes for account managers to be strategic and succeed. Here's what she had to say.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message.
Hi, Amanda. This is Cassandra Farr with Philips. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to reach out because I've been thinking about what truly makes account executives successful. I am curious by nature. And so throughout my entire career, I have always started out by trying to understand who the person is that I'm meeting with and a little bit about them, what they care about, what they're interested in, what their goals are, and what they're trying to solve for in their daily life. That matters to me because I care about people and I care about helping others. And I love to solve problems, especially problems that most people say can't be solved. That's especially fun for me. I would say through my entire 30-year career, I have engaged with people that way, and it's worked. I can share a number of stories, including a recent flight where a gentleman came in late, sat down next to me in his seat. And at first I was kind of thinking to myself, wow, this guy must be having a bad day. And he kind of just sat quietly for a minute. And then he made a comment to me. I realized that he needed a little bit of a moment of validation. And so I engaged with him and realized we lived very close to each other. From there, we started just talking about life in Sarasota and in Florida. From there, I learned that he's a chef. I just out of curiosity, I said, so what got you into that? How did you become a chef? And what learning and training did you do? And he said, I wasn't always a chef. I used to work for GE. And I said, oh my gosh, how amazing. I did too. And I said, how long for you? And he said, 18 years. I said, 20 years. We just found all these connections very quickly. And then we also shared connection around how stressful it can be in med tech and why he jumped from med tech and revamped his whole life and his career around becoming a chef. Through the course of this flight, I learned he was also in the midst of fighting for his life with cancer. We just built such a connection and a bond during this flight. By the time we were done, I said, I am really interested in just the whole conversation we just had. And in sales and in the commercial realm, everybody talks about the ABCs, always be closing. I really think it's more about curiosity, connection, and understanding what's happening for our customer. And together, it may have even been his idea. He said, how about always be connecting? Instead of always be closing, always be connecting. And I just said, I think that's brilliant. And I have tested that a bit. And I think what I've come out with or found is that what resonates for most leaders in the industry is you need both. The way I now think about it, you have to connect before you can ever close. You have to be curious so that you can then connect, so you can then relate and close. After all of that, what makes account executives great? It's not their territory. It's not their product knowledge. It's not even their experience. It's how they show up. So what does showing up differently look like? I call it the 3 C's. First, curiosity, the discipline to ask better questions before you ever offer a solution. Second, connection, because in enterprise sales, relationships are the infrastructure everything else runs on. And third, closing, which isn't about pressure. It's about helping your customer make a confident decision that's in their best interest. When you lead with all three in that order, you stop being a vendor and you start being a trusted partner. That's the standard that I hold my team to at Philips, and I'd love to talk about what it could look like for yours. Give me a call back at your convenience. Look forward to talking soon.
Thank you for listening. Want your podcast to do more? Subscribe to our newsletter, Big Little Wins, because it's never just a podcast.